kid that was supposed to be plopped in front of my PlayStation 3 ended up walking into my room and saw me doing this girl.
What the flip, man? You genuinely could not torture this story out of me. Psst, disclaimer. What's up, Sigmas? I'm back for another incredible video, third upload in the month, which is a rare occurrence, I know. This guy recently popped up on my shorts. His name is Barber Streams, and I'd almost forgotten about him. You see, I found out about Barber 2 years ago when he was getting called out for all of his weird story times. Now, all my memories of Barber had basically been forgotten. It's like the Men in Black came and erased my memories, but I saw him recently on my shorts, and that basically unlocked my entire memory. Now, the YouTube short that I saw was titled, "Doing My Waiter on a Date." Already, what an opener. I would say take me out to dinner first, but he'd probably end up doing the waitress as well. Barber claims that all of these stories are true. Every story that he tells on his channel is true. If that is the case, I genuinely want to know what kind of gooning magnet this guy is. But you see, Barber has some of the greatest titles on YouTube, such as Made Saw My and Wanted It, Took a Bath with My Babysitter, Ran Around the School with Nothing On, and one of the weirdest videos was Caught Doing It at My Family Reunion. Now, this one caught me so off guard that I thought, why don't we look at this one together and just see how incredibly weird it is? Because, I mean, you can already tell by the title that it's going to be incredibly strange.
I remember I went to my family reunion, and out of nowhere, I ended up seeing this girl that was there, and she was like the hottest girl there, which I know sounds crazy, but you gotta understand, what ended up happening next made me think that I did it at a family reunion?
Hang on. If you're at a family reunion, it's gonna be family there. So if you do it with someone there, they're related to you. That's a family member. You don't think that, you know that.
Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane but crazy story. Now, today's story all starts back a long time ago. I want to say this was like back in my grade 10 year. And in my grade 10 year, you guys may know I was a massive player. The only things I was good at was playing video games and doing the Devil's Tango.
That is not a flex. That is actually not a flex. Oh, yeah. You know, my childhood, I was so good at doing it, man. That's not a flex, bro. You're just a weirdo. You're just a gooner.
I'm not gonna lie. There was this one moment in my grade 10 year that was kind of insane. Because I remember during spring break of my grade 10 year, I was just hanging out having a good time. And then my mom ended up calling me home for dinner. So right as I was heading home, I remember I ended up getting like a bunch of phone calls and I was placed in this group chat on Facebook. Now, one thing you guys should know about me, I never use Facebook. To be honest with you, Facebook is something that I probably only would use to talk to my grandma or talk to old people that I never really get to speak to.
Well, apparently, you also use your family Facebook to find new girlfriends, I guess.
Which sounds really bad, but going on. I remember when I pulled out my phone, I saw that in the group chat was just full of my old family members and people that I never even recognized. And as I'm scrolling through this list of like 35 people, I realized that everyone had the same last name as me. So in my mind, I automatically assumed, oh, okay, so I guess we're having a family reunion. So I got home instantly and I sat down for dinner with my family, and that's when I brought up, I have a question. Are we going to a family reunion anytime soon? At that moment, my mom looked at me and she stood up from the table and said, Bubba, it was supposed to be a surprise, but yes, we're having a lot of people over. The entire family's gonna come over, and we haven't seen each other in a very long time, so this is gonna be very good for us. At that moment, I started to panic because I'm not gonna lie to you, I love my family.
Bubba, we know you love your family, man. We saw the title.
But when it comes to a family reunion, things can get kind of wild. If you guys don't know, I'm Persian, or at least half Persian. So my Middle Eastern genes make us have wild parties naturally. But going on, I remember I was like kind of like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. And I didn't think too much of it. But on the day of the family reunion, well, things kind of got insane. Because I remember I ended up waking up that morning and instantly hear a knock at the door. I was super confused because it was 8 a.m. and the party wasn't supposed to start till like 6 p.m. But I ended up going downstairs and I opened the door and I saw it was my grandma and a bunch of my relatives deciding to come early to help out with the party. So automatically right away in the household, we already had like, I guess like 7 people there because I had a pretty big family growing up. From there, I was like, okay, you know, things can't get any worse. It's just family. This is normal. But as time went on, almost like every 2 hours, someone else came in through the door. And the house started to fill up more and more until out of nowhere, I ended up answering the door one time to let in more people. And I realized it was a really young boy and his older older sister with her parents that came through the door. Now, I've never seen these people in my life, okay? I've never seen them ever. But right as they were walking through the door, I ended up looking at the girl, and she was around my age, and she like looked pretty attractive. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I know that sounds insane because reminder, she ended up coming for my family reunion, but trust me, just keep listening. It gets a lot worse and weirder. Anyways,
If it's worse and weird and it's incest, why have you decided to tell the whole world that you're a freak? I mean, we already knew that. One look at your channel can tell me that you're an absolute freak.
I remember the little boy ended up looking at me and he started talking to me and stuff because I was like one of the only guys in the house at the time other than my dad and his dad, I guess. And I ended up like kind of like talking to him, and I ended up plopping him in front of the TV to play on my PlayStation 3 just so he would leave me alone and not touch my console upstairs where I play my video games usually. Anyways, as he was distracted, I always noticed how anywhere the little kid went, the little boy, the sister, or at least who I thought was the sister at the time, ended up basically following him around. It was like she was almost more of a babysitter than a sister, but I really didn't care. When I plopped in front of the TV though, like I said earlier, I remember we ended up sitting on the couch, and when we sat down, I ended up sitting beside the girl. And the girl looks at me saying, "Oh, like, you guys have a really nice house." "Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm happy you like it." "Yeah, so like, how many rooms are in this house?" "Oh, there's like 7 bedrooms. But like, to be honest, like, we don't use all of them." "Wow, like, is your family rich or something?" Now, I'm gonna say this real quick. My family wasn't rich. I know it sounds insane, but we weren't like loaded. Okay, we were just like well off, if that makes any sense. But going on with the story.
I think, okay, this might just be me, but I think if you have more than like 4 bedrooms in your house, even 4 is a little bit too much, right? But 7 is insane. 7 is diabolical. In my house, we have 2 bedrooms. And that's it. But I'm an only child. Like, obviously, I wouldn't need a sibling room because I don't have a sibling. But honestly, with Baba's freakiness, his whole family would probably sleep in one bed.
I remember me and her, we started talking about school and stuff, and I realized that she actually didn't live that far from me. She went to a different school, obviously, but she only lived like a 20-minute drive from me. But as me and this girl were talking, I remember the little boy, like halfway through him playing a video game, he ended up standing up and looking at me, and he's like, "Why are you talking to her? She doesn't like you. Leave her alone."
Oh my days, what a W guardian angel. He knows Baba's intentions and he knows what he's gonna do. W little man for stepping up.
I remember at that moment I looked at her and she's like, "Oh, just don't worry about it. Just walk away." So I ended up standing up and walking away, and I decided not to annoy her anymore because I didn't want to get in trouble by the little boy's parents. I remember as time went on, obviously more people came, and it got to the point where the house was filled with basically over 40 people. Some people ended up bringing friends down, and it was honestly like crazy. But I remember every time I would walk around talking to people and talking to other family members, I always noticed that the girl that was taking care of the little boy that was apparently related to me would stare at me all the time. Like, this girl kept staring at me with her 1,000 eggplant stare, like nonstop.
She probably knew you were a next level creep, man, I'll be honest. She knew about your track record of being freaky.
I remember it got to the point where I ended up basically needing a break because my social battery was being drained from how many times I had to talk to my relatives. So I decided to go upstairs to my room and I closed it. But I noticed as I was going up the stairs, she was staring at me as well. I ended up turning on my console and I ended up sitting in my bed and started to play Call of Duty just to kind of relax. And then 20 minutes later go by and I ended up hearing someone knock on my door. Now, I knew it wasn't my mom because my mom usually just walks in. She never actually knocks on the door, which I've had many crazy moments with that happening, going wrong.
Chillax, dude. Okay, we don't need to know about more family members' freakiness, man. We don't care. It's bad enough that you're talking about, like, whatever she is, cousin. I don't know. That hasn't been explained. I'm assuming the big twist is going to be, oh, we're not actually related. But chillax, man.
Going on with the story, I remember I ended up answering the door saying, "Come in." And then this girl that was supposed to watch the little boy ended up walking in. She walks into my room, she sits on my bed and says, "Oh, so like, are you enjoying your family reunion? Because you seem to be cooped up in here a lot."
Cooped in here a lot? He's been there for like 20 minutes. That's not even that bad.
"Oh yeah, you know, I'm just taking a break from everyone, I guess." "Yeah, I feel that. Family reunions can be so exhausting. I know mine was." And once she said that, I was really confused because I thought this girl was like my relative of like some sorts, either a cousin or like a distant cousin, or even maybe my auntie. I really don't know. But then I ended up looking at her confused and I was like, "Wait, so what's your last name?" She ends up looking at me and she's like, why are you asking that?" Because I'm just curious." "Oh, well, my last name is," and then she ended up saying her last name, and her last name was not the same as mine. Okay, it wasn't. It was a totally different last name.
Now, I don't know if Baba knows this, right? But 2 people can be related and not have the same last name. For example, my cousins have a different last name to me, but we're still related. We're still cousins.
So in my mind, I thought, you know what? This girl's kind of hot. Let me talk to her a bit. So
Baba, she could still be related to you, man. You need to calm down with your freakiness. Keep it in your trousers, mate.
me and her started talking, and we started, like, you know, basically talking about life and stuff and how school's annoying and all the basics of what most high schoolers talk about. And then one thing led to another. I remember she came a bit closer to me, and well, that's when it happened. We ended up making out, and well, we ended up doing the devil's tango in my bedroom.
I've paused the video. Like, obviously this is gonna get cut out, but like, I genuinely don't even know what to say to that. Like, you're a weirdo. To do that at a family reunion with someone you assumed was your cousin, you found out they had a different last name, so now it's suddenly okay, which is, you know, wrong. Obviously, you can still be related and not have the same last name. That's just stupid.
As literally, there was a whole family reunion going on downstairs. I know it sounds insane.
It is insane. You can't defend this.
Okay, I get it. But you gotta understand, she was hot. So going on from there, I remember as me and her were doing the devil's tango.
What is wrong with this guy?
Out of nowhere, I ended up hearing another knock on my door. And I was like, oh shoot, get up and get ready. And as I was getting dressed, this kid that was supposed to be plopped in front of my PlayStation 3 ended up walking into my room and saw me doing this girl.
What the flip, man? You genuinely could not torture this story out of me. You could have me strapped upside down and having each one of my toenails removed, and I would still keep my mouth shut.
And he's like, what are you doing to my babysitter? At that moment, I'm like, oh, it's your babysitter. Yeah, big whoops. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know that.
Hang on, what does he mean big whoops? Big whoops implied, oh, I didn't know. So did he actually think it was his cousin? This is getting so freaky, so freakocious.
But honestly, I wasn't complaining because, hey, at least we know it wasn't one of my distant relatives, okay? And well, yeah, obviously he started freaking out, screaming. My mom came upstairs, saw what I was doing, and I got in major trouble. To be honest, it was the talk of the entire family reunion about how I did that. And I think ever since that day, I don't think I ever had another family reunion I went to, nor was I invited to another one.
Good. You shouldn't be allowed near them. You're a freak. You should be locked up.
Which, if my family's watching this, can I please go to another one?
No, don't go to another one. Do not let that man anywhere near any relatives.
Like, I promise I'm not gonna do the devil's tango. But if you guys would do it at a family reunion, follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.
What do you mean follow if you would? What? What the flip, man? Now, if you thought this story time was bad, the comments are just as terrible. A lot of them like this guy. Like, damn bro, you're getting cool all the time, lol, laughing crying emoji. Or, this man is just too active. Then I saw this one of, you should do a video of your first devil cream. Jesus Christ, man. These videos are very obviously meant to entertain children, right? Like, children are gonna click on this. Even though he says my videos aren't for kids, whatever, it's very obviously appealing towards children. Like and subscribe so you don't have to hear another one of this guy's stories.